Hello, welcome to Empower Capital. Earning six or seven figures sounds like the dream, right? But here's the shocking truth: most high income earners still struggle financially. Why? Because making money is not the same as keeping wealth. But the wealthy have followed an ancient financial secret for generations. And it all starts with saving and investing the right way. So let's break it down. But before I do, I want to remind you this is for educational purposes only. Anything I say should not be taken as financial advice. Please do your own research. So, when you look at the harsh truth of high income earners, right, what you notice is that earning high income is great, but without a plan, it disappears fast. Right? Lifestyle creeps in, you earn money, you spend more, taxes eat up a chunk of your income if you're not strategic, right? So many pro athletes, celebrities, and even business owners go broke because they never mastered this wealth principle. Mike Tyson is a great example of that. He went up to, I believe, $600 million or so, right? ESPN made a series called 30 for 30 broke, where a lot of athletes, such as Mike Tyson and great athletes in NBA, NFL, even the soccer world, right? We have players like Adriano, who played for Brazil. You have all these guys and people that became broke after hitting the pinnacle of their career. And why is that? Is because they didn't really practice some of these principles. It doesn't matter how much you really earn, right? It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep, right? Don't let your money become like water in your hands, right? You try grab or hold water. You can't, right? That's how some people's wealth has become in their hands, right? So, what is this ancient secret that I want to talk to you about, right? The rich have followed this secret, one simple rule, right? And it comes from the greatest book of all time, which is the Bible, right? So if you look in the Old Testament in around Genesis, the first book of Genesis, in the 41st chapter, it talks about Joseph. So let me give you a quick background of Joseph. So Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and while he was in jail, he met a colleague or another jailer who eventually got released out of jail. And Joseph was known, and people realized that he had the gift of interpreting dreams, right? The gift of interpretation of dreams. So this guy goes into the Pharaoh's palace. I'm talking about the other jailer. Goes into Pharaoh's palace and starts working there. And then Pharaoh has a dream, and the dream was that it dealt with a famine was going to come. Right? Joseph later, gave the interpretation of this dream that a famine will come, and so they went and brought Joseph out of jail, and Joseph gave them that interpretation that hey, it's a famine coming. There's going to be first good seven years of good times, and then 7 years of a famine. And so the Jewish Pharaoh asked, "What do we need to do?" And Pharaoh said, "You know what? Since you were able to do this interpretation, and none of my wizards and magicians and all these great people of Egypt could not do, since you were able to do this and give me the interpretation and tell me my dream, what my dream was, I want to appoint you to be the guy to give me an advice." And Joseph's advice was save 1/5 of everything. So I want to show you what he says right there. It says, Pharaoh should look for a wise and intelligent man and put him in charge of Egypt. Make arrangements to appoint supervisors over the land to take a fifth of Egypt's harvest during the 7 good years. A fifth means 20%. Have them collect all the food during these good years and store it up under Pharaoh's control for food in the cities. This food will be a reserve, if you want to call it strategic reserve supply for our country during the 7 years of famine that will happen in Egypt. Then the land would not be ruined by famine, right? A strategic reserve, right? Sounds like the strategic reserve that the US is trying to do with Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain, right? Get ahead. In the future is coming, right? Something's going to come in the future where every nation, many people are going to try to go towards this digital assets world. And the US is already ahead. So many nations are trying to hurry up now, and they should, rightfully so, right? So Joseph gave them this insight: 20% of that. Maybe the US should do the same, right? 20% of their strategic reserve should be into Bitcoin, right? Convert some of their gold into Bitcoin, and it will serve them really well, right? This is not a financial advice to the U.S., but um, I think it's a great thing, right? So shout out to Cynthia Loomis, the senator of Wyoming, for all the hard work she's doing and with the strategic reserve as the head of the committee over there. So let's move on. All right. So I just showed you what's going on right there. Right. So historically, wealthiest families have lived below their means and then reinvested their money. Sounds simple, right? But the secret is really where you put that money. Right. So now what do you do with that 20%? Right. Also, don't forget, pay your tithes, right? Out of that 80%, right? Make sure to pay your tithes for those that are people of faith like I am, right? Make sure to pay your tithes, right? With 10% of, go ahead, pay your 10%, right? So the 20%, now what do you do with that? All right. If you're saving money and just letting it sit, inflation is going to keep eating your wealth, right? So instead, invest your savings using tax efficient vehicles, right? I know in different countries they have different names for some of these things, right? In the US, it's the 401k, the 403b, which is for not-for-profits, IRA, whether between traditional Roth, HSA, brokerage, in investment accounts, FSA. We have all these vehicles. In Canada, they use the term RRSP. In UK, they have a different name over there. Ghana, Nigeria, I don't know what they use over there. In Africa, in Asia, I don't know what some of the names that they're using over there. But a lot of these nations have their own tax efficient vehicles where you can just take pre-tax or post-tax dollars and to help you reduce your taxable income or gain certain deductions. So I'm actually going to make a video later, um, on traditional versus Roth IRA, which one is better, right? And you're going to see the impact of these vehicles. So it's really going to be very relevant to US folks, right? Definitely make sure to watch that video, right? And whatever country you are, this may also apply to you guys. You guys may have a different name for it. I'm not sure. But let's move on. So remember the power of compounding. That's why we say we invest that 20%, right? The power of compounding, invest early, right? A dollar today is is worth way more than a dollar saved later. Why? Because of time, right? If you invest $500 per month, all right, starting at 25, you could retire with millions. But if you wait till you're 40, you'll need 3 times as much for the same result with the same time frame. All right. So now what should you be doing? So now let's talk about actionable steps, right? Step one, automate saving 20% of your income, direct it to investment accounts. Step two, max out tax advantage accounts like 401k, IRA, HSA, RRSP, as they say in Canada, before taxable investments. Invest in low cost index funds such as ETFs, S&P 500 ETFs, and because it's very diversified, right? It's very low risk, still good return, right? For long-term growth, right? Obviously based on your risk tolerance and so on, right? For those that want to go with more risk, more, can go into other assets such as Bitcoin, crypto, NASDAQ, more technology stocks, so on. Number four, avoid lifestyle inflations. Let your money work for you, right? So don't let your money just sit there, right? And then stay consistent. Wealth isn't built overnight, but it's built for a lifetime, right? So before we close it, right, I want to remind you now that you know the secret, high income alone won't make you wealthy, but saving, investing, and using tax advantages well. So are you ready to start building real wealth? Drop a comment below and let me know your biggest takeaways. And if you want more wealth building strategies, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, right? So you can get notification to when I release a new video, and make sure to share to your friends, to your family, to your relatives, and so on. All right. Have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. And we love you and God loves you. Bye.